Welcome to BAETTA International English, IELTS, GRE and ELT programs. This is Ami Alert, Chairman IT and Head of Linguistics, BAETTA Bangladesh. As a part of MA in English, ELT, TOEFL and TESOL curricula, today I am going to deliver this lecture on types of test validity. This is an innermost and burning topic in language skills testing, evaluation and assessment codes. So, this video is very significant to you. Let's begin. Introduction. Usually, a test is said to be valid if it measures accurately and successfully what it is intended or supposed to measure. Validity tells you how accurately a method or process measures something. If a method or process measures what it claims to measure and the results closely correspond to real-world values, then it can be considered valid. According to modern models, the types of test validity are as follows. Number 1. Phase validity. Does the content of the test appear to be suitable to its aims, needs and purposes? Number 2. Criterion related or criterion based validity. Do the results accurately measure the concrete outcome they are designed to measure? Criterion validity includes A. Predictive validity and B. Concurrent validity. Number 3. Rational validity. The estimate of how much a measure represents every single element of a construct. Rational validity includes A. Content validity. Is the test fully representative of what it aims to measure? Content validity includes number 1. Item validity and number 2. Sample validity. Rational validity number B. Construct validity. Does the test measure the concept that it's intended to measure? Construct validity includes number 1. Convergent validity and number 2. Discriminant validity. Besides the above categories, there are other 3 types of validity as follows. Number 4. Internal validity. Number 5. External validity. And number 6. Statistic conclusion validity. Now, I'll be speaking about each of the above types of validity in detail. First, I want to talk about number 1. Phase validity. Phase validity, which is also known as prima facie, considers how suitable the content of a test seems to be on the surface. It's similar to content validity, but phase validity is a more informal and subjective assessment. As it's said that a first impression is in most cases the most important and everlasting impression about something or someone that is received from at first sight of that thing or person. Like looking at the girl first time, automatically we can have a comment whether she is a beautiful girl or not. Similarly, in order to judge the validity by face, it's not necessary to have an experienced or expert examiner. Phase validity is not always a good validity, for even a layman or novice can assess phase validity. Suppose if we want to test writing ability by oral test or oral ability by a grammar test, a novice or even a layman can say that it's not a good test because here I am not testing what I am intended to test. Example of phase validity. You create a survey to measure the regularity of people's dietary habits. You review the survey items which ask questions about every meal of the day and snacks eaten in or between for every day of the week. On its surface, the survey seems like a good representation of what you want to test, so you consider it to have high phase validity. As phase validity is a subjective measure, it's often considered the weakest form of validity. However, it can be useful in the initial stages of developing a method. In a broader perspective, a test is said to have phase validity if it looks as if it measures what it is supposed to measure. For example, a test which pretended to measure pronunciation ability but which didn't require the candidate to speak might be thought to lack phase validity. This would be true even if the test's construct and criterion related validity could not be demonstrated. Phase validity is hardly a scientific concept, yet it is very important. A test which doesn't have phase validity may not be accepted by candidates, teachers, education authorities, or employers. Now, I'm gonna speak about number 2. Criterion-based or criterion-related validity. Criterion validity, which is also known as proficiency validity, evaluates how well a test can predict a concrete outcome or how well the results of your test approximate the results of another test. Criterion-based validity is assessed by statistically testing a new measurement technique against an independent criterion or standard or against a future standard. Criterion-based validity encompasses general ability of a language. It's not related to any particular syllabus. Generally, it's related to international standardized tests like IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, GED, GMAT, SAT, and the like, which are conducted by experienced trainer rather than a non-standard test. As for example, PBT TOEFL test is conducted within 0 to 570 score, and IBT, that is internet-based test TOEFL, is conducted with 0 to 120 scores. On the other hand, International English Language Testing System IELTS test is conducted within 0 to 9 band score. Types of criterion-based validity. Usually, criterion-based validity is of two types. Number 1, concurrent validity against an independent criterion or standard. Number 2, predictive validity against a future standard. Now, I will be talking about in details. Number 1, concurrent validity. The term concurrent means some two or more than two tests happen almost simultaneously to establish how well a new test compares to a well-established test. Concurrent validity pertains to the extent to which the measurement tool relates to other scales measuring the same construct and that have already been validated. Kernbeck and Meal, 1955. It can also refer to the practice of currently testing two groups at the same time or asking two different groups of people to take the same test. Concurrent validity indicates the amount of agreement between two different assessments. Generally, one assessment is new while the other is well established and has already been proven to be valid. An author of a new assessment would want her assessment to have high concurrent validity with well-respected and well-established assessments. For example, an employment test may be administered to a group of workers and then the test scores can be correlated with the ratings of the workers' supervisors taken on the same day or in the same week. The resulting correlation would be a concurrent validity coefficient. Advantages of concurrent validity. In general, concurrent validity refers to the extent to which the result of a measure correlates with the result of an established measure of the same or related underlying construct assessed within a similar time frame. Concurrent validity is to considered as first way to be validate your data. Now, I'm going to speak about number 2, predictive validity. Predictive validity indicates the ability of a measure to predict performance on some outcome variable. If the result of the two tests share same score comparing to a standard score after a long gap, the test has high predictive validity. As for example, British Council and IDP Australia conducted IELTS test and United States Information Service is conducted TOEFL tests are based on predict validity for their score is valid up to 2 years. It means it is predicted that up to 2 years the concerned candidates will be able to perform equally or demonstrate equal performance in using all of the 4 basic skills of English, listening, reading, writing and speaking equally as they were able to do during the test taken before. It's a prediction. If the prediction matches with the performance in real life with a complete agreement, your test has predictive validity. When dissimilar thing happens, like students getting golden A+ but don't getting chance at admission test, this test was not a valid test at all because it didn't measure the actual performance or ability successfully. It could not measure what it intended to measure. What is criterion variable? A criterion variable is an established and effective measurement that is widely considered valid, sometimes referred to as a gold standard measurement. IELTS band score or TOEFL score are also criterion variable. Criterion variables can be very difficult to find. How to evaluate criterion validity? To evaluate criterion validity, you calculate the correlation between the result of your measurement and the results of the criterion measurement. If there is a high correlation, this gives a good indication that your test is measuring what it intends to measure. The criterion-related validity of a test is measured by the validity coefficient. It's reported as a number between 0 to 1.00. that indicates the magnitude of the relation are between the test and a measure of job performance or criterion. To evaluate criterion validity, you calculate the correlation between the results of your measurement and the results of the criterion measurement. If there is a high correlation, this gives a good indication that your test is measuring what it intends to measure. When both two tests get same 100 and 100, validity coefficient is 1. But when differences is 100%, validity coefficient is 0. Example: a university professor creates a new test to measure applicants' English writing ability. To assess how well the test really does measure students' writing ability, she finds an existing test that is considered a valid measurement of English writing ability and compares the results when the same group of students take both tests. If the outcomes are very similar, the new test has high criterion validity. What's the main difference between predictive validity and concurrent validity? The difference between the two is that in concurrent validity, the test and the criterion measure are both collected at the same time, whereas in predictive validity, the test is collected first and the criterion measure is selected later. Viewers, in my next video on types of test validity, I will talk about other types of test validity including rational validity, content validity, item validity, sample validity, construct validity, convergent validity, discriminant validity, internal validity, external validity, and statistic conclusion validity. Thank you.